Neonic Void Productions presents.
Hello and welcome back to Spookocalypse. I am your host, Zio, and today I'm joined with the one, the only, the marvelous, the magnificent, the fascinating, the stunning Bunyip.
Damn, I only use like one adjective to describe you.
I use a handful, a list.
You got a thesaurus. You're like,
Yep. It's just pick 'em. So welcome back, y'all. What's good? What's poppin'? And before we get into today's episode on more Universal classic monsters, if you look in the description below, you will see a link to the link tree that'll lead you to the other podcasts and the Neonic Void Productions. You can also find us on YouTube. The YouTube link will be in there as well. And you can follow us on Twitter because I'm not going to call it by that stupid name. On Twitter, I want to say it the first time this time. I'm going to spell correctly. SPOOKOCALYPSE on Twitter. Go follow us. I have started to be more active on that Twitter because I like ooky spooky stuff. And I really want to get more in the horror community to hopefully branch out to more listeners, as well as just to see what's good in the world of horror. So, but yeah, go check it out on there. Go listen to some of the other podcasts. Book Watchers is back. Bordonica is going strong. Tea of the Gods will come back soonish, and then House of Ideas, same. So, but yeah, go follow us all on there. Now, what is today's flavor meant?
Oh no, I didn't think about that one.
Hairball. No, it's not mint. It's just a hairball. I don't know.
It's a doggy treat.
Oh God, yeah, it's not mint. It's a doggy treat. There you go. It's a doggy treat. And why is it a doggy treat? You may be asking yourself. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about The Wolfman. That's right. The Wolfman. It was a film that was released in December 9th, 1941 in the United States and December 12th, 1941 in the UK. The budget for the movie was $1,800,000. It was directed by George Wagner, and this is considered a gothic horror film. Now, I would say this one's a little more on the horror side compared to some of the other ones we talked about in the last couple weeks. I mean, this one's not necessarily scary, but is more of the scary vibe in it compared to like The Invisible Man.
Yeah, this one does feel a little more frightening, just with like how the creature looks and what he does.
Yeah. So who's the cast, Bunya?
So we've got Lon Chaney Jr. as Larry Talbot, and he also plays the Wolfman. We've got Claude Rains as Sir John Talbot. I think that's his father. We have Warren William as Dr. Lloyd, Ralph Bellamy as Captain Paul Montford, or also known as Colonel Montford, Patrick Knowles as Frank Andrews, Bela Lugosi as Bela. He's a fortune teller and also a werewolf, unless that's giving away too much. But he also has a picture of himself next to his two dogs. It's unrelated, but it was on my mind. Maria Ospenskaya as Maleva, who is another person. She's a Romani sorceress, but they refer to them as gypsies. We have Evelyn Angers as Gwen Conliffe, who is the main love interest. We have J.M. Kerrigan as Charles Conliffe, her father. We have Faye Helm as Jenny Williams, Forrester Harvey as Twiddle, Doris Lloyd as Mrs. Williams, or Jenny's mother. Like, I think she plays both roles. And then we've got Harry Stubbs as Reverend Norman.
Now, this movie has had one remake back in 2010. if you all did not know. The 2010 version of the movie starred Anthony Hopkins and had Benicio del Toro in it.
Benicio del Toro.
Yes, that is the name. Benicio del Toro. Yeah, he played the Wolfman. And then, of course, Anthony Hopkins was Sir John in it as well. And then, of course, next year on January 17th, 2025, we are going to have another remake of The Wolfman done by Blumhouse this time. Because last time it was just done by Universal Studios. But the next one's going to be done by Blumhouse with Universal Studios. So I'm actually real excited for the Blumhouse version of it because they did a really good job with the Invisible Man, with their take on the Invisible Man. So I'm real excited for the 2025 remake. Anyway, getting into the plot of the Wolfman.
Wait, did we mention budget?
Budget was 1,800,000.
180,000.
180,000, yes.
We don't know how much it made though.
No.
We had it going good with Bride. They had both.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we don't know. We don't know where the money went.
We don't know where the money went. Where to go? Where to go, Universal? Where are the receipts?
But yeah, plot wise. Right. So Larry Talbot, he's returning home to Llanwelly, Wales. Yeah. Basically, he's gone back to Wales. And he's burying his recently deceased brother. And he's going to meet up with his estranged father, Sir John Talbot. And he's up in this observatory looking thing. And he's looking through a telescope. And then he sees Gwen across the street. And I could have swore she was going to undress, but she's just adjusting her outfit, checking her earrings. And Larry just looks like, he's like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. I got to say hello.
That's not weird at all.
No, totally not. But, peeping through a telescope isn't exactly illegal at the time.
No.
But he goes to the Conliff antique shop that's run by her and her father. And he looks to talk to her. He's like, I'm looking to purchase some earrings. It's like, earrings? Oh, okay. And then she suggests a few, and he's like, no. I'm looking for some half moon earrings, like the ones on your dresser. And she's like, what? Oh, those aren't for sale. It was like, it gets really awkward. She's like, how'd you know I had those earrings? And he's like, I'm psychic.
Sure you are, Jan.
And I think she calls him out on his bullshit for the psychic part, at least when he's looking at the canes. It's like, well, I can't be psychic about inanimate objects, only with women with beautiful eyes and hair like you. It's not the best first impression, but he does purchase a walking stick that's decorated with a silver wolf's head. And Gwen tells him that it represents a werewolf, which is a man who changes into a wolf at certain times of the year. And the werewolf always sees a pentagram on the palm of his next victim. And in the beginning of the movie, there's a line that shows like what the definition of lycanthropy is. And this part was new to me because it said the original definition is someone who imagines that they are a werewolf. Like it's more of a mental thing. But it also, in certain legends, extends to physically becoming a werewolf.
Yeah.
But the whole in your mind thing does play a part later in the film. They bring it up multiple times. And though Gwen firmly refuses Larry's proposals for a date, they meet that night at the proposed time, and they're joined by Gwen's friend Jenny. And they're like, let's go have our fortunes told by the Romani fortune teller, Bella. And then he sees a pentagram when he examines Jenny's palm, and he's like, I can't read your fortune right now. I'm busy. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Larry and Gwen take a walk in the dark and foggy and creepy woods with dead, gnarled trees, because that's romantic.
Right? Of course it is.
I mean, if you're into horror, then yeah, it's probably the most romantic thing. But otherwise, for a seemingly normal couple of just people, you'd be like, "Why are we walking in the woods? Why is everything so dark? Why can't I see anything?"
Right?
Mhm. And Gwen's like, Larry, I'm engaged." And he goes, "Oh, shoot. Maybe I could get you away from your boyfriend."
Oh, damn. Mr. Still Your Girl.
Like, Larry's kind of a scumbag. Like, I
A little
realize.
bit.
Like, why are we rooting for him?
You're really not.
But yes, they hear screams from Ginny, who is being attacked by a wolf. And then Larry attempts to rescue Ginny, and it bites him in the chest, but he manages to kill the wolf with his new walking stick. He just beats it to death with the head.
Yeah.
And then the police investigate the scene, and they find that Ginny's throat was torn out, and that Bella, the fortune teller, was battered to death. And Larry's walking stick is clearly the murder weapon because I think they find it at the scene.
Yeah.
I don't remember him taking it with him.
I think you're right.
But yeah, when it shows him, it's like, oh, this is where the wolf was, but also this is where Bella was. So coincidence. But then the police investigating the scene, they start to suspect Larry of being guilty of murder. And they're like, well, Larry deepens like hang on, I'm misreading my notes.
Oh,
So he can't really explain his story of fighting the wolf. Like he says, like I fought a wolf and it bit me, and then like he shows them the scar, and this is happening the next day. Like he shows them the scar, and there's no wound. So it's like, what happened to the wound? It makes it look kind of like he's lying.
right.
And the fact that Larry and Gwen were not with Ginny when she was attacked also makes it seem that it makes his alibi seem shaky because like where were they? So Gwen's fiance Frank believes in their innocence. Larry and Gwen, they pretty much are socially outcast by the town at this point. They're like, "Oh, we know you two are up to something. We just can't prove it."
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's at this point that there's a scene with the dog comes in with Frank and is just barking at Larry.
I think so.
It's either that or this is after he gets a pentagram necklace.
I think it's before.
Well, anyway, just to be like, oh, something is happening, and if you weren't sure, dogs bark at people that they find suspicious. The Bela's mother, Maleva, reveals to Larry that the wolf which bit him was her son in the form of a wolf. And now Larry's a werewolf too because he was bitten. And Silver's the only thing that can kill a werewolf, which would explain why the cane was effective at killing this thing and not bullets. And then Maleva gives him a charm or a pentagram on a necklace to prevent the transformation, which I do not understand why because later he transforms anyway.
Yeah.
And the pentagram it's a 5-pointed star with a wolf in the middle of it. And now I understand that episode of Archie's Weird Mysteries where there's a werewolf and they make reference to a pentagram. And I'm like, what's a 5-point star have to do with a werewolf transformation? I'm like, it comes from this movie. And it that is technically a horror animated series. So if we want to look into that a little bit at some point, we could.
Mhm. Yeah. We could.
Maybe. It might be really family friendly though.
Yeah. I mean,
It's Archie. Like, what do you expect?
ooh, Archie. Yeah.
Up for debate, but moving on. Yeah, this all happens like in between he's at like a little circus fair that the Romani have put together and they're just shooting at these it's like a shooting gallery and they show different animals and then when the wolf shows up like Larry hesitates.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, I don't really want to play anymore. Bye.
Why would you want to play? No, I want to leave. Bye. Yeah.
Yeah. But then now I understand why he transformed anyways, because he gave the charm to Gwen. He's like, it'll protect you from the wolves. Like, that's not what it's meant for. It's meant to keep you from turning.
Yeah.
So full moon comes out. Larry transforms into the Wolfman. And then he sees some guy digging a grave and he just immediately attacks him. And then and that's pretty much all he does. He returns the next morning with no memory of his rampage, and authorities believe the killing to be the work of a wolf. So they set out traps and they send out hunting parties. And the next night, Larry turns to a werewolf again, and he gets caught in one of the traps. Malipa uses a spell to temporarily change him back to human,
Mhm.
and he's able to free himself from the bear trap before the hunting party gets to him. And now he's like, I'm absolutely a werewolf. It was me. I need help. So he tries leaving town, and he's gonna say goodbye to Gwen, and he sees a pentagram on her palm. So I was like, oh no, I'm gonna
Mhm.
come after her next. So then he tells his dad that he's a werewolf and that he killed Bella and the villager. And his father's like, no, it's all in your head, man. You're just imagining things. But I guess I could tie you to a chair, keep you from leaving, and prove to you that you're not a werewolf. And then Larry asks him to take the silver cane. Just like, just hold on to this just in case. If you insist. The moon rises. Larry transforms again. He breaks free of the restraints effortlessly, and then he finds Gwen and attacks her in the woods. And of
Mm-mm.
course, Sir John Talbot, not recognizing the Wolfman as his son, he bludgeons him with the silver-headed cane and ends up killing him.
Yeah.
And then Maliva arrives and uses her spell again, and it reverts Larry back into his normal form. And then he's like, "Oh no, what have I done?"
Yo.
And that is essentially the plot of the Wolfman.
Yeah.
It's a 70-minute film. There wasn't a lot to talk about,
No. It's pretty short.
unless you want to get into symbolism.
Well, I mean, we might as well hear because we were talking about before. What's the symbolism, Bunny? Because the symbolism, as I was watching it, I was kind of outside eyeing this movie a little hard here.
Yeah, it seems like sexual urges.
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning, he does see a lady through a telescope, and he's like, "My goodness, I must get into her tin and cookies."
Yeah. It's weird.
But it also has some weird gayness to it in a way. Like
I
not
mean,
when
the
he's
Wolfman is kind of can be an allegory. I mean, I think they do mention it in the docu series we saw.
they do.
Yeah.
I'll go over some of the notes I wrote, and then I'll let you decide. So the theme brought up is the idea that a man can imagine himself to be anything, right?
Yeah.
Like I explained earlier, that lycanthropy is when someone imagines that they are a wolf, not just physically forced to become one. And there's a cure that's being discussed. Like maybe there's a way we can cure someone of this mental illness, and then they'll be quote unquote normal. Like they want to correct the mind.
Mm,
Or if you're talking gay subtext, the urges.
yeah.
I also saw kind of a parallel with obsessive compulsive disorder. Like when the Wolfman sees the pentagram in someone's hand, they're the next victim. So I'm like, what if it's like having an invasive thought where it's like, oh no, I have thoughts of wanting to harm this person, but I don't really want to hurt them. But the
Yeah.
thoughts are in my head, and I don't know if that's me or not.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then there was the scene where the hunters are boasting about like hunting the werewolf. Like, yeah, we're gonna hunt him down. And then one of them is like, I will proudly mount this werewolf on my wall if I if I come across him, because fuck wolves, fuck werewolves, I guess. And then it almost came across as like he was a proud homophobe. It was like, yeah, I
Right.
will absolutely attack someone who exhibits this type of behavior.
Mm-mm.
And like the dad doesn't believe Larry when he confesses to being a werewolf. Like he thinks it's all just in his head. And then
Yeah.
he ends up beating with a silver cane to defend himself, and then it ends up protecting Larry's identity. Like he doesn't say, like he realizes that Larry and the Wolfman are the same person, but when the hunting party arrives, they don't know. And in fact, the hunter who was boasting earlier, I I think he says like, "Well, Larry died protecting Gwen." Like he just makes that assumption,
Yeah.
and the father doesn't correct him. Like, "No, it was my son." He was like, yeah, I'll just protect my son's memory. I don't want people thinking he's weird or dangerous."
Hide the fact that he was the wolf.
hmm And of course, big allegory for sexual desires. Starts with him peeping on a girl through a telescope, ends with him losing control of his urges and attacking her.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of watching the film.
Yeah, no, you're right. Pretty much that's it in a nutshell. So going into the rating, 1 out of 5 wolves. Wolfman. I don't know. Use the Wolfman as a point.
Maybe you want to do pentagrams or do you want to do like silver canes?
No pentagrams. The devil. 1 out of 5 pentagrams. I would give this one a 3 out of 5 pentagrams. Like, this one is not my favorite by no means, but it's not like the worst either. If that makes sense. Like, this one's still okay. It was better than the Mummy. That's for sure. But compared to the other ones, yeah, no. But yeah, I would say a 3 out of 5 pentagrams.
All right, I'd give it like 3.5.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think I preferred Bride of Frankenstein a little more.
Yeah.
But I did like observing this movie and noticing some of the themes of it. And I also found it interesting that like the first weapon that's used to kill the Wolfman isn't silver bullets like it's mostly shown in popular media. It's a silver cane. Like it's just you get a piece of metal and you find a way to puncture his skin, and that's what kills him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if it hasn't been already been done in other movies with creatures that die to silver, maybe kill them with other weapons like a silver baseball bat or a silver throwing dart or a silver spear or just anything
Okay.
silver. Or you can get like really campy with it, like like a silver golf club.
Yeah.
My dad made this special golf club out of pure silver. I think I'm going to use my golf skills to beat up the Wolfman. You're like, all right, whatever.
I
And then
bet.
it works.
Right.
I can picture a movie doing something like that.
Oh my God. So in total, the point is 3.25. Go check it out, y'all. Pretty good. Decent. But yeah, that's today's episode on the Wolfman. Catch us next time as we talk about another film in the Monsterverse. We have 2 more to go after this week. So catch us then. Until next time, peace out.
Goodbye.